Welcome back to The Thoughtful Advocate. I'm your host, Elizabeth Teo, and today we're going to talk about being alone and why some of us choose it, how it shapes us, and what the science tells us about loneliness and friendship. You know what's funny about memories? Some of the smallest details stick with you. For me, it was birthday cards, or rather the strict rule that I couldn't go out unless I had an invitation. Looking back now, I laugh because I probably could have just made up birthday invitations so that I could show my dad, but I was too afraid. And my father wasn't someone you went against. So the idea of being caught with fake invitations scared me. When you're young and scared, rules aren't just rules anymore. They become your whole world. Now, my summers were filled of long stretches of being alone. That's all I ever really knew, because I wasn't allowed to go out. While other kids were having pool parties and sleepovers, I was immersed in video games, which is why I love them so much. The Fable series, if you haven't played it, it's an amazing RPG, open world. I love it, especially the first one. It's so good. And I especially enjoy this game because every choice you make affects your outer appearance. So if you make more evil choices, then you'll become more devil-like. And if you make more good choices, then you become more angelic. And eventually I think you get halo and wings. So it was such a fun game. And I always chose to be good. Being bad really made me feel bad. And might be also part of the perfectionism and this image of being the good girl. But that's why I love open world gaming so much, because the people in the games, the NPCs, became my friends. Sadly, they weren't real, but it felt real. And it was so much fun because I would interact with them, talk to them, and they also react to the things you do. So if you let out a fart, they look disgusted. If you dance, they'll point and laugh. If you make a joke too. If you do a pickup line, they also blush. And so it's fun. It's almost real human interactions. And you can go on adventures with some of these people too. And of course, being isolated in my room, I couldn't go anywhere. So of course I wanted to go on adventures. And that's how I went on them, through open world experiences, through open world gaming. And of course, social media and talking to people online made me feel less alone. But I wasn't doing too much of that. I think at the time it was probably just Facebook. So I would just chat with my friends. I wasn't really using Instagram. I don't even know when Instagram was made, but it was really just Facebook Messenger. So talking to people I actually know. But I knew deep down I needed real life connection. I needed to see people, to have those face-to-face moments that screens just can't give you. And it's funny, isn't it? When I had so little control over my life, I found freedom in games that were all about making choices. And there are studies that show that children who can't play with friends normally will often make up for it through imagination and video games. It's not running away from life, it's finding other ways to cope. But here's what researchers know about loneliness. It actually changes your brain. Studies from UCLA show that being isolated hurts the same parts of your brain as getting physically hurt. So those long summer days weren't actually just boring. It was actually difficult on my brain. The dark side of being lonely. Now, loneliness can feel really dark. It's not just sadness, it's this heavy and empty feeling that no one really cares about you. And you're just stuck alone with your thoughts, going in circles. So books and video games were my escape and my friends, because at least I can go to these worlds and just get out of this constant cycle of being in my thoughts. I could become a vampire and run away, run up the tree. I could be a wizard and just make things happen. The quiet becomes too loud and you start to wonder if you matter at all. So Dr. Julian Holt-Lunstad research found that being chronically lonely can actually take off 15 years of your life. That's a huge chunk. And that's equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It's not just emotional pain, it can actually make you sick. The digital loneliness problem. Here's what worries. More and more people only talk to each other online. And research shows that this affects our mental health. While texting and social media can help, they can't replace talking to people face to face. Dr. Sherry Turkle's research shows that online-only friendship misses out on the important stuff, like the good feeling you get from giving a hug or reading other people's facial expressions. Think about it. People used to meet naturally at bars, community events, neighborhood get-togethers. But those random meetings became rare. On the positive side, when I moved to my neighborhood, I actually saw people in my neighborhood who are older than John and I, but they get together all the time outside, sit on lawn chairs, and drink beer together. I thought that was really sweet, and I wish there was more of that. We really need more community events and reasons to get together. The ways people used to connect are disappearing, just when we need them most. High school felt like freedom. I was constantly outdoors. We were by the ocean, we went to the beach. Our physical ed class was literally in a forest, hiking along trails, so it was a great excuse to get outside my house and breathe in the fresh air and see people and feel the sun on my skin. But here's where the story gets more interesting. The tricky part about making friends. Even when I moved to Canada, which was a great opportunity to start fresh, I carried the same unfortunate thought. Why try when I won't make friends as good as the ones I had before? The connections won't be as deep. This has been studied in psychology. When we compare our old friendships to our new ones, when we put our old friendships on a pedestal, it makes it impossible for new friendships to measure up to that. Now, after class in university, I would literally just go home. Would make no effort to make friends or anything like that. I did join a club, but I didn't make an effort to make friends. I felt really lonely and I wasn't putting myself out there. I was building what therapists call a wall. Something that keeps us safe from getting hurt, but also stops us from connecting with other people. My world became really small. My brother, my boyfriend, my mom. And while John is my absolute best friend, research shows that we need different types of friends for good mental health. Scientists show that we need at least 5 people who are really close to us and at least 15 good friends to feel our best. I only have 2 or 3 friends that I see here in general, that I see in person, which can be really hard. But I'm grateful for John's family because they have monthly celebrations, whether that's birthdays or just get-togethers and just to hang out. And these gatherings make me feel less alone. And soon I'll be starting D&D with the siblings, which I'm super excited for. It's funny how sometimes the connections that we can make come through people we already know. The challenge of adult friendship. After university, making friends became even harder. And research shows that almost half of adults have less than 3 close friends. And that was before COVID. Work helped because I talked to so many people, but I didn't join anything outside of work because I was exhausted. And something weird happened during this time. Meeting new people actually made me feel anxious. My therapist explained this perfectly. You haven't put yourself out there in so long, so your social skills got rusty. You just need some practice. So I decided to do some things like put myself out there on Bumble and make friends. And you know what? It actually worked wonders because I met so many cool people through that. And I have a couple of friends still from there that I see today. And I'm genuinely proud of myself for pushing through that anxiety. But here's where things get tricky again. I still felt disappointed because these friendships didn't have the deep connection that me and my old friends had. But those relationships had years to grow. So research from the University of Kansas shows that we need at least 200 hours of hanging out with someone to grow a really close bond. And I was expecting instant closeness from someone I just met. And science backed this up. When we avoid scary situations, our anxiety actually gets worse. The brain pathways that help us feel confident socially get weaker without practice. And the truth is, building connections and friendship take consistent time and energy. But I didn't fully have time juggling everything, and I had no energy. But I do have a few friends, so I'm very grateful until this day. And sometimes having the courage to try is just as valuable as getting the perfect result. There was also something deeper that was happening inside of me. I didn't fully love myself, so how could I expect others to? Or feel that others could love me just the same? And research shows that when we don't value ourselves, we expect others to reject us. And now with my son and this podcast, I have even less time to make friends. But I've learned something. There's a difference between being forced to be alone and choosing to be alone. Researchers distinguish isolation, which is loneliness, that comes from having no social interaction, and solitude, which is chosen time to be alone. And it helps you think and grow, and the brain science is cool. When you choose to be alone, it turns on the parts of the brain that work during meditation and creative thinking. But when you're isolated against your will, it triggers stress, and it causes what researchers call social pain. The hidden good of being alone. The positive thing about being alone is that it can actually help you become friends with yourself. When you're not constantly listening to other people's thoughts and opinions and ideas, you actually have time to think for yourself. And you have space to figure out what you need and what you want. You really get to know yourself instead of reacting to everyone else's energy. And studies show that people who are comfortable being alone develop better self-awareness, handle their emotions better, and have clearer personal boundaries. When you learn to be okay being by yourself, you're not desperately looking for connection because you need it. You're choosing it because you want it. And like everything in life, we need balance. Too much isolation can hurt us, but so can never have any time alone to process, to think, to just be yourself. To anyone who identifies as a loner, whether by choice or by circumstance, science shows that people who choose to spend time alone in solitude have better creativity and problem solving, control over their emotions, self-awareness, and ability to have meaningful relationships. And so those times that you spent alone aren't wasted. They're building skills that help you in your life. The journey from isolation to connection isn't about becoming someone else. It's about honoring your time to be alone and your need for community. It's about building bridges while staying true to yourself. And here's my challenge to anyone else feeling alone. Put yourself out there and try. And if you need help, see a therapist. And honestly, when you put yourself out there, you never know who you're going to meet. It could be the love of your life, your next best friend, who knows, your business partner. And you can start small. Maybe say hello to your next door neighbor. Go to a community event. And yes, even try a friendship app. What I've learned is that connection takes courage. It doesn't have to be perfect. Every small step counts. Every try matters. And sometimes the most beautiful friendships come from the most unexpected places. Thank you for listening to The Thoughtful Advocate. If this spoke to you, please share it with someone that you know who may be feeling lonely and can benefit from understanding the science of loneliness, isolation versus solitude. And subscribe for more episodes like this. And remember, your path to connection is uniquely yours. So go out there and try, because you're never truly alone in this world.
Okay, so today's sponsor is Kind Laundry. Just kidding, they're not really a sponsor, but I do have an affiliate code. Kind Laundry use natural ingredients, and it actually comes in these sheets. So much more useful than liquid laundry detergent, because that stuff gets messy. With Kind Laundry, you can bring this anywhere. It's literally in a box, pack in your suitcase, and it's that easy. You can get 10% off by using code ZeroWasteCute.